Hello everyone! As the title states, this is a tutorial on how to set up the early hammer manipulation for Super Mario Bros. 3 any% warpless. The first thing you want to do is in the link in the description, download that, extract the files into a folder of your choosing, and essentially it will look like this. I have the creator of the early hammer tool with me, Narfman. A lot of questions are going to be answered during this video, so that's going to be really good. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and get to this point. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. I can see your face. Are you in the Kentucky Fried Chicken right now? The red room?
I see in the video it looks like I'm in a horror show or something.
Yeah, look, we can make it even better here. There you go.
Nice. Yes.
That's nice. So essentially what's going to happen is Narfman is going to walk me through every question I have from the first step to the very last step.
Early hammers for everyone.
Yay, early hammers for everyone. So once we get this window open, what exactly is the first thing we should do?
Yeah, so I'll take note, and this is something that we will be opening a whole lot in the process, but we have a config.ini.sample. So this represents sort of the defaults that the app comes with. And I would say that you should copy that to a new file just called config.ini. Make sure you remove that sample. But it's handy to have like the template, the defaults that exist in the sample.
And
perfect.
Just enter. Yep.
You are going to want to edit the file in Notepad still. I personally like VS Code or Notepad++, but
I go for mega default. Whatever it allows me to do, I'll use. So that's good to know because I did that before and I was like, weird. I don't know what this is, but you can just right click and go to edit and it should be fine. Okay, cool. So video capture source. This is the video source. That's what it's referring to. The capture card you're using to stream your Mario 3. This is not for emulator. Emulator might be something different. This one's specifically for capture card, right?
Yeah, so if you're using emulator, you probably don't want to use this tool. I don't have any suggestions to use it. There are better ways to do early hammer on emulator, but video capture will be very important. It represents your capture card. I think you just try one, see if it shows up in the video that pops up. Try two, that didn't work. And in my experience, nobody's gone past 2 or 3.
I did turn on mine and it didn't work, and I changed to 1 and then it worked. So what do I do first to make sure? I need to know if I'm video capture source 1 or 2. So what's the next step here?
Scroll down a little bit. And again, to like conceptualize what we're doing, we want to push all the video capture card through the tool, which goes through Windows, through the operating system. What does Windows see is your video device? So to confirm that, we want to scroll down to show capture video.
Right here.
True. Yep. So make sure that's true. It should be true by default.
Yep, this is a fresh download, and I told everyone to download, so this should be default. That's really good. I like that. I like how you do have some really good defaults, to be honest.
So now, it's also important that every time we tweak this, we have to save it.
So this is the tool. This is the application, as anyone can see right here.
Yes, let's go ahead and try it out. And we'll do this loop a lot. We edit the file, and then we run to test our results.
We let it run. Okay.
Oh, can we pause? I see a lot of libVLC error. Do you have the program VLC installed on your computer?
Yep, the VLC video player, right?
Okay, good. Try to have VLC installed before you even run this. Just on general principle side note, VLC is a great program.
So in this instance, which what Narfman was talking about, my capture is not showing up, but my OBS is open, so everything's working, but my video capture source is primary. So in this instance, if I switch to 1, right? I've already troubleshooted it in the past. I already know this should be 1, but I'm just trying to make sure everyone at home can get used to it. So
I'm glad you did that.
This says capture at the top. This will be the video of your capture card. This isn't like the tool. You don't need this per se, but this is just going to show that the tool is understanding your capture card and recognize. So now that I put it to 1.
That is what the tool sees, and that is very important. You should have this when you're configuring, but you should not have it enabled when you're running because it will slow the tool down, and that will introduce variance, which is bad. It will increase your failure rate.
I just reload the tool. And we're gonna rock it again.
Okay, you're looking great now. So I see that you have your capture up and things are happening and you're moving and grooving. Now let's scroll down. The video capture source is correct. It is immortalized and you shall never change that ever again. Let's scroll down to something a little more important, which is, okay, side note, pause. Enable video player. is what allows us to see the current status of the game. At this point, you could go ahead and turn that to false. That's the little emulator down there that I don't use. If you go a little further, the capture video, show capture video, I like to turn that to false. So that's the big screen in the background.
Yeah, I don't want that anymore. Without this, how do you know when to start in correlation? You listened for the ticks, right?
Yes.
Okay, you'll hook me up with that later. That will actually be a little bit new to me. This will be the first time I won't have at least a video up, so I'm very excited for that.
It will be better. If you were using the video last time on the tool, this UI in the top left is much better.
Okay, so we saved that. I'm just gonna go ahead and exit, and now I'm gonna put it to the test. I'm gonna run the tool. Oh, yo, we already got the click. Okay, and we got this. There we go.
Okay, this is our bread and butter. We love this.
This is good.
Yeah, and you see all that spam of VLC is gone. It'll start up a little faster. It's good. Oh, also the tick. The tick is fairly important. So see how it's 17 milliseconds?
Yep.
So that is roughly a frame in Nintendo parlance. And we want to reduce that number as much as possible because that means it takes 17 seconds from when the tool receives the next frame, and it does a whole bunch of calculations trying to find images to either start or reset the program for a new run.
Right.
And you want to shrink that quite a lot so that there is no variance.
Yeah.
Variance is what we hate.
Yeah.
A little bit of latency is okay if it's consistent. Variance is terrible.
As a player who's gone through this before, the long and short of what he's saying is that when we would run the game, you'd get early hammer 3 times in a row, and then you would literally do the same thing and you would get like a 3 frame off outcome. And I'm assuming that's the variance that you're kind of referring to, right?
Yeah, and you could be pressing a factually true, not just your perception. You could be exactly the same millisecond A press as the audio cue. However, due to variance, it's actually plus or minus 8 milliseconds. One run you would be correct and perfect, and one run you would fail, though you would actually, in truth, be pressing at the same time. That's what we want to reduce. We want to reduce failure rate due to variance.
All right, well, now that we have everything going, what's next?
I have not changed this yet, but I'm going to put a couple more things to put in your config because they're just noisy. I'll try to remove this sometime, but you have RNG and you have segment 1 enter, and that's just not helpful to you. So in Discord, I sent 2 more things that'll just make those go away in the UI.
Okay, so we'll put this in the description, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right at the bottom here. And do I need to make sure I kind of copy like how this works right here?
If you put a semicolon at the beginning, that means the parser does not care about that line at all. So if you want to activate those settings, you remove the semicolon and preferably the space. Now that you did that, next time you start it, those 2 things will not show up.
Cool.
Now, note, here's the important thing. Write capture video is set to true. We need to make sure that the tool knows with very high precision when to start the run and when to reset the run. So we reset the tool so it starts recording a new video. Okay. We're gonna reset our game and make sure that we have the reset trigger and the start trigger in the video. And then we're gonna close down the tool kind of quickly again, just so that we have a small video to work with. Do you see capture.avi in that folder?
Yep, right here, it's right here. Yep. When you first download this tool, for everyone, this is not here until you get the tool up and running first. If you download this and you don't see this right away, don't worry. Once you get the tool open, it'll just keep remaking new ones. So what he's saying right now is he wants me to open up the tool. He's got it going, and then I'm going to reset the game, and then I'm gonna get it kind of wait a little bit, and then now close it, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
If you got the full reset and you got the start, then you're good, and then just close the tool.
Yep. I don't have the push start though.
That is what we'll configure now. So we want the start frame. I view it like we have these triggers, which is something that the tool sees to do something. The curtains to me is what I use for reset.
Yep.
And then when I see, I believe it's either Mario or Luigi, that means, hey, we're starting the run. And so we see it, and then we say, okay, when we see Mario, we're this far into the run, let's go. So you now have saved in capture.avi the representation of what the tool sees. So you can go ahead and open that in VLC, and we're gonna try to figure out our good frames. In order to do that, just go to the beginning of the video and pause it. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll want to enable advanced controls somewhere in there. Advanced controls, yep. To the right of the record button, all the way to the right, there's that little like play pause button, and that's like go forward 1 frame.
So I was curious, when you download this, you already have preset triggers. Why can't anyone just use those?
Wow, Mitch, what a great question. I'm sorry. Well,
no, it is a really good question because I think everyone would just like to use yours and not do, because I know what we're about to do and I really don't like doing this part.
Yeah, depending on your Nintendo and how it's configured and your settings on the Nintendo, like if you have an RGB mod, then the RGB mod might have different palettes. If you have an OSSC or a RetroTink, they all have different palettes as well. Like to a much lesser degree, different Nintendos output different color signals, and all the colors are very slightly different. And the whole way that the tool works is, given this snapshot, this is a great pause frame by the way, it tries to look in that image for a small subsection, which I usually have at the kind of the bottom left for me. And if those colors are different, then it does not see that sub image. So what you want to do, I like to get the very far left, like 2 curtains worth.
Right.
Because you want
like
small. Yes. So like I was thinking dim out everything else and just focus on that. And like we want to capture that. We want to crop an image of just that section. And 2, we need to give it coordinates of where in the window is that little section. Also very important, do not change the size of VLC. It must be exactly the same aspect ratio and resolution as when you first open it. If you take a screenshot and it's a different aspect ratio, then we can't match pixel to pixel all the colors, right?
The first thing we would do is take a snapshot, I guess?
Yes, so from video, oh yeah, that might work. I see that icon.
I'm gonna bring this and I'm gonna put it here so everyone knows, like it's you can just have, you know, your little thing. So this is always an annoying process. So I'm gonna make sure we do it on stream for any of the dummies out there just like me. Can we even drag and drop this? Oh my goodness, we can.
Welcome to 2025. Okay, yep, you're in the right spot. Okay, as you're working on all these images, we need to make sure to not move, smudge, change any of the color, any of that stuff, because that will introduce error again into your process. Can you take the select tool, so it's like the 2 ruffles of the curtains right above the checkerboard, note that that is a very distinct image that does not anytime, anywhere else in the game show up until the very end of the game, which is after, and we don't care about that anymore, right? Those are the frames that I've chosen because you will not accidentally start early hammer in the middle of the run or accidentally reset in the middle of the run. You only see this image right now on this frame. Before you do this, you need to take note of where your mouse is because that information is gonna go away. So open up.
Right. So I'm gonna open up a notepad. You can see in the bottom, like right here, right? In the bottom left?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's what I do. The initial coordinates will go away when you let go of the mouse. However, the width and the height will not go away. So what I suggest is click where you are now and drag out your outline. You can go ahead and do that. Hold the mouse down though. Okay, now go back and look and you see you started at 297, 778.
Okay.
And just write that down. So you can let go, Alt Tab, and write down 297, 778. Also, what you need is the width of what you just did. You can write down 158 by 132, the width and the height. The tool will use these numbers to figure out where in the video feed does it need to look for this image.
Cool.
The format that we need to put in the config file is X, Y, width, height. 297, comma, 778, comma, 158, comma, 132.
Cool.
Yep. Okay, now, very important, in Paint, you need to copy that image. That's your trigger, Control C, and make a new image that's just that small subset
Do I
of
want
the
to
bigger.
save the changes or anything? No, I don't have to.
No, make that like really tiny, like 50 by 50, and now paste it in. Okay, now save this to your desktop as trigger.png. Or wait, this is the reset trigger actually.
Reset trigger, okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's just a reference, so save it to your desktop. Nice, I got it.
Okay, and you can go ahead and close that down.
Okay, we go to the INI.
Okay, for one, auto reset is set to false. So why don't you scroll up a little bit and set auto reset to true.
Right. You definitely want auto reset. Anyone who's planning on doing this, definitely make auto reset a thing, because when you reset the game, like, it will do all this and you won't have to do anything. You'll be good.
Can you do that as lowercase as well? I think capital is okay, but... And now let's go ahead down and we need to update the region, all those numbers that we just took, and make sure that our path and our image are in the right place. So that's the reset image region, and you can just copy that string over. Yep.
Okay, reset image right here.
Yep.
Cool.
And then make sure, remember I said comment in the beginning is the semicolon. So make sure you remove the semicolon in the space.
So that it's always active. It's always going to work, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, now scroll to reset image path. So it refers to the PNG, like where's the PNG that the tool should look for. Yeah. So you should just set that image that you just saved and overwrite data/reset.png.
Wait, overwrite this to what?
To the image that we just saved on your desktop. How about this? In your folder that your mouse is hovering over, go ahead and go to data. And do you see reset PNG right there?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you double click that and show
everyone what it is?
What comes with the tool. Yeah. So that's what mine looks like. And it doesn't matter if yours is a little bigger or a little wider or shorter or whatever. It doesn't matter. I will say if it's too small, you might get false positives, which means it will try to reset you during the run, which is no fun. We're going to want to override this. So Mitch, on your desktop, you have reset.png and it should say overwrite. So you definitely want to demolish whatever's there. Yep.
All right, replace. Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so that should be reset. Now let's go ahead to the start frame image path. So that one I believe is in the early hammer folder, the EH folder.
All right, EH folder.
Oh yeah, and we can see it already. Trigger.png is just all of Luigi's body. So we're gonna try to go back in the video and find that. You're very close already. There you go.
There we go. So now we save a snapshot.
Yep.
Okay.
And side note, now we're done with VLC if you want to close it. Just for simplification.
Wait, we're completely done with VLC?
Yeah, unless we suck and did it wrong.
Users at home, when you're fully done with VLC, go to write capture video, set it to false. We have this here, so now we're gonna open it up in Paint. I probably want to start right here. So
yeah, and hit the select tool too, yeah.
Oh, use the select tool. I drew a line through. Okay, there. So 298.731. 298.731.
You got the 8 and the 9 mixed. You might want to switch to 298.
Oh, okay, and then 85 by 137.
Correct.
137. So just like that, right?
Correct. Now I'll leave it to you because I know, but now it's like a test.
File new. Don't save. The box is already shrunken, so I can Control V. That's essentially it, right? I can file, save it to desktop, and we want to name it trigger. Go like that. Replace it. Yep. Okay, so now I go back to my config.ini like we did before, and we're gonna have to put in the new formats that we have. We did reset image. Now we need to do start frame image region.
Oh yeah.
Is that what this one is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Control C, start frame image region, Control V. All right.
You have something else in the INI at the beginning of the line.
Oh, yes. Get
Nice.
rid of the space, get rid of the semicolon.
So we're good for now.
Okay,
If you want to close that down, yeah. So now we can test it out. And gee golly, I sure hope it works, he says with much foreboding. Okay, I already see a problem, but can you please reset your Nintendo as well?
Yep,
And tell us when you reset it.
I've already reset.
Oh no! It didn't work. What a surprise. I've got something to tell you, buddy. I baited you into this. Here's the problem that I have observed through many early hammerings. The regions represent in the video, right? We're like, bro, it's this exact X, this exact Y, and then there's this width and this height, and we're so good at this. However, that is not in practice what always happens. Sometimes there's a little bit of jitter somewhere in the chain between Nintendo, the upscaler, the capture card, Windows, the tool. I don't know. Some things kind of shift and jiggle around a little bit. And so what we actually want to do is change the region to go a little bit further to the left. We want it to go a little higher. We want it to go a little lower, and we want it to go a little further to the right. We just want to make that little tiny window. We want to make it a little bit bigger. So what I do is I add 3 pixels everywhere. So 294. 94 is a little smaller than 297. So we're moving it a little to the left. And then 778, we're going to move it up a little bit. So that's 778. 175. 158 is the width. So we're going to add 6 to that number because you have to make up for moving it left 3 pixels, and 2, you want to extend it a little further to the right, another 3 pixels.
So this one will go 8?
Yeah, that one will do 8. Yeah, and then same thing for start frame. Now, it worked for you, so you might not want to change it, but maybe change it like 1 or 2 pixels.
And run the tool. Okay, I'm going to reset.
Oh!
Hey!
Now you win.
Now you get early hammer and quit bugging me.
So then there's tweaking latency MS.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know what this is the difference between what you input on the TV and what the tool registers in real time between the two, right?
Yes, let's visualize it like this. We have a pipeline of video that goes through many steps, and different runners have a different video pipeline. At each step, especially the capture card, it introduces time, like several milliseconds at the very least. So we need to tell the tool that we have that delay. Otherwise, we're going to be pressing our buttons way later than we should be. So what you're going to want to do is figure out how to tune that number to whatever delay it is between when you press input, where there's no delay, like if you were to have it on a CRT, and when the tool sees it. My most consistent suggestion is to have your screen visible. I have it on my right side, and then I have my tool on the left side with the black window that we use and that we hear, because this is a very relativist thing. It's you are the one playing, it's your ears receiving the input. So you need to figure out the relative difference for your ears. Pull out a camera and try to make sure that you capture like a video or a picture of a distinct time. Like I have I believe it's frame 270.
Okay, let me try that so anyone can see how I was able to do it. I'm gonna grab my phone. I'm gonna start the tool. This tool right here, everyone. I'm gonna put it on my other monitor close to my TV. Is there anything in my phone that I need to make sure?
Yeah, ideally you have the highest frame rate setting for your camera.
So I'm gonna start recording first and then I'm gonna reset. So this is the video I made, and then we're gonna go ahead and press play. You see Mario in this position right here is on frame 470. So if you compare these two videos, when Mario's in that crouching position, if the tick tool says frame 470, then you're pretty good, right?
Yes, so that's the ideal case. What is likely to happen is that we'll be off a little bit. In the video, we see it is exactly on that frame where Mario's ducking, but the tool says it's frame, what is that,
273 point something. Yeah, it's 273.
So I would say increase your sample size.
Every single one was 272.9.
Good. Okay, so that means the tool thinks you are almost 3 frames ahead, which means you can lower the latency milliseconds, whatever 16 times 3 is. Wow, that's really fast. You do have a really nice capture card. 66 minus 48 equals 18 latency MS.
18 instead of 66?
It's very speedy. And then we run the test again. Ooh, looking good.
69.9.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like 269.9.
It looks really good to me. I would probably not even change it.
This is actually extremely reliable, but you do have to troubleshoot it. And lastly, I guess, do you have the Hammer Brother movements on frames?
I do. It's in a docs folder where you download the tool, but it should say docs and then it says movements.
So I'm gonna add it in the description below, guys. If you want any of these tools and any of these documents, go to the description below, download them. The documents are essentially gonna show you what the Hammer Brothers will be doing after every world and what it means when they do other things after each level and stuff like that.
So this is all the critical stuff and you're good to get world records now.
Now, attention, Mario Brothers 3 runners, always play on left bros. If you are using emulator, which one is it? Prog 0 or Prog 1?
0.
Okay, so if you're using emulator, make sure to always play on program 0. But with that being said, we're gonna end it there. So for anyone who wants to do early hammer manipulation, you guys can go ahead and watch this video. I know it's a little tough, but just kind of grind through, and there is a massive reward at the end. And yeah, it's the best way to play Mario 3 right now. So Narf, man, thank you for coming on and doing this, man. You've made a fantastic tool, and I actually cannot do this without you. So
yeah, well, you're welcome, and good luck, have fun. I hope it goes well with y'all.
Okay, well, thank you guys all for watching. Take it easy.